Hi everyone, this is Joe. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to reminisce a little bit about rock and roll from my era, which kind of includes really most of it. I think I became aware of music in my environment and in the culture and around me on the radio and TV when I was about 6 years old, 1954. And that's when I became aware of music, and I remembered, the titles, who sang it, and the lyrics, and started listening for those kinds of songs. And just a couple years later, in '58, I started actually buying 45s, and we'll talk about that. But in '54, my first year of, the beginnings of rock, I guess we could call it, origins. Here are some things that were going on in the country at the time. Marlon Brando was one of the most popular actors. He was just starting in his first movies. The Social Security Administration had been founded in 1954, which of course I wasn't aware of that as a child, but Brown versus Board of Education decision that integrated public schools, I was aware of that as a child. The famous New York Yankee outfielder Joe DiMaggio married Marilyn Monroe, the famous superstar, movie star, actress, and that was a big cultural event that everybody knew about and all. And in 1954, the average price of a home was just about $10,000, a little bit over, 10,400 I think it was, or 10,600, slightly over 10,000 was the average price of a home. And now on to the music. I'm going to do 5 of my notable songs from each year. And starting in '54, the first one was Rosemary Clooney with Hey There. Now, of course, this is not rock, but this is the popular music of the time, and this was kind of a holdover from the big band era. She sang with, I think, like Glenn Miller and the Dorsey Brothers, and then Bing Crosby and Mel Torme and those guys. She was very popular, and this song was, being played a lot in the atmosphere at the time, in the environment.
Hey there, you with the stars in your eyes. Love never made a fool of you. You used to be too wise.
Number 2 was Bill Haley and the Comets with Rock Around the Clock. Now, this was one of the first songs, I think, that was targeted at teenagers, Of course, I guess the Frank Sinatra era from the 40s was also music targeted at teenagers, but this was the first kind of rock, rock music that was really targeted at teenagers. And so that was number 2, Bill Haley and the Comets with Rock Around the Clock.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Put your glad rags on, join me home. We'll have some fun when the clock strikes 1.
Number 3 was the Crew Cuts with Shaboom, Shaboom. This was a kind of a catchy song. It was a little bit of a holdover from the doo-wop era, I think.
Oh, life could be a dream if I could take you up in paradise up above. If you would tell me I'm the only one that you love. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hello, hello again.
Number 4, the Penguins with Earth Angel. Also, a little bit doo-wop there, holdover into in the '50s.
Earth angel, will you be mine, my darling dear? Love you all the time. I'm just a fool.
And the number 5 song for the year for me was Mr. Sandman by the Chordettes. A little bit of a novelty song, I guess, but it was kind of catchy and it was popular. And matter of fact, several other artists had popular songs, popular versions of it too, but this is the one I remember that was on the radio, and that actually has been in several movies too, I think, a lot of movies that were made from that period.
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him two lips like roses and clover. Then tell him that his lonesome nights are over.
So that's my 5 from 1954. I'm going to do every year going up through the late 60s into the classic rock era with Cream and Led Zeppelin, the music that I still enjoy listening to this day. But anyway, the next year in the series will be 1955, and we'll talk about that in episode 2. So thanks for joining me, folks. Hope you enjoy it.